Today, millions of Americans are used to working an 8-hour day. But that wasn't always the case, because in the 1800s, laws protecting workers' rights were almost non-existent in the United States. And when factory workers in Chicago went on strike, their peaceful protest led to one of the most serious miscarriages of justice in U.S. history. It's the 1880s, and workers across the nation are at the mercy of powerful business and factory owners, who often have employees, including children, some working for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. On May 1st, 1886, workers desperate for a change begin a nationwide campaign for an 8-hour workday. Workers at McCormick Harvesting Machine Company in Chicago joined the strike, and 2 days later, the police intervene, and the peaceful protest turns violent. Several people are injured and one is killed. In response, protesters hold a meeting at Haymarket Square, but when police attempt to disperse the crowd, someone throws a bomb. In the resulting chaos, 7 officers and several civilians lose their lives. 8 people are subsequently convicted, even though most of them didn't attend the Haymarket meeting. 3 of them serve long prison sentences. 1 commits suicide in jail, and 4 are hanged. It is later confirmed that the accused did not receive a fair trial. Hundreds of thousands attend their funeral procession, remembering them as martyrs to the cause. The Haymarket affair, as it becomes known, makes headlines across the globe and inspires workers to form organized unions in the United States. But it takes until the 20th century for the government to enact laws limiting working hours and mandating overtime.
1886, Chicago, Illinois. Haymarket Square. A labor rally has just ended. It's about 10:20 p.m. Most of the crowd has gone home already. Only about 200 civilians and 200 police officers remain. Suddenly, someone in the crowd hurls a dynamite bomb towards the police officers. The bomb explodes. Gunfire follows. 4 civilians and 7 police officers are killed, and dozens of others. Well, 20 years earlier, the National Labor Union passed a resolution demanding a workday of no more than 8 hours. Ironically, Illinois was the first state to enact a law requiring an 8-hour workday, but employers ignored it. Then, in 1884, the Federation of Organized Trades and Labor Unions set May 1st, 1886, as the official start of the 8-hour workday. Most employers in Illinois failed to comply, so the unions began organizing peaceful marches and strikes. On May 1st, 80,000 workers marched down Michigan Avenue, followed by 35,000 workers the next day. Then, on the 3rd day, the peace ended as Chicago police intervened with picketing workers at the McCormick Reaper Works, killing 1 and injuring several others.
Not good.
Flyers announcing a rally the next night were circulated and promised good speakers who will denounce the latest atrocious act of the police. 2,500 people showed up. Members of the labor movement spoke. Tensions were high.
Then someone threw a bomb at the police?
Yes, and the police responded swiftly. Labor leaders were taken into custody, union newspapers were shut down, and martial law was declared throughout the nation. The Haymarket labor movement faced a 69-count indictment, and 8 were subsequently brought to trial for the murder of Officer Matthias J. Deegan. The trial began on June 21st in dramatic fashion. Albert Parsons, the leader of the American branch of the International Working People's Association, had spoken at the Haymarket rally. Although his speech was generally restrained, and he even said that he was not there to incite anybody, he had gone into hiding in Wisconsin after the bombing. But on the first day of the trial, he returned and turned himself in to be tried. It's been said that the bailiff filled the potential jury panel with individuals he thought would be biased against the defense. Then the state used its peremptory challenges to get rid of the few workers on the list of potential jurors. The defense ended up using all 160 of its peremptory challenges. It seemed Judge Joseph Gary was ready and willing to stack the deck against
to the crime?
There was. When Louis Ling was arrested, police found a number of bombs and materials used to make bombs, which matched the shrapnel found at the scene. His associate, William Seliger, received immunity in exchange for his testimony against Ling.
Yipes! That is compelling.
There was also an eyewitness who testified he had seen one of the defendants, August Spies, light the bomb and hand it to Schnabel to the rally, but his credibility was highly questionable. And that was the others were all outspoken members of the labor movement. They were considered activists, anarchists, or radicals, depending on your viewpoint. They were men who circulated propaganda, gave speeches, and tried to further a cause they believed in. Unfortunately, their rallying cry caused someone to commit a horrific crime.
And it sounds like the state was determined to make someone pay.
The trial ended on August 20th. The decision was quick. The jury found 7 of the defendants, Albert Parsons, Samuel Fielden, Louis Ling, August Spies, Adolf Fischer, George Engel, and Michael Schwab, guilty of murder, and condemned them to death by hanging. Oscar Neebe was sentenced to 15 years hard labor in the Joliet prison. Judge Gary later allowed each of the defendants an opportunity to explain why he believed his sentence should not be carried out. The defendant spoke for 2 days, but the judge's mind was not changed. When Louis Ling spoke, he bitterly thanked the court for allowing him a final speech. The governor of Illinois intervened by reducing the sentences for Fielden and Schwab to life in prison. Then Ling took his own life in prison on the day before he, Parsons, Fisher, Engel, and Spies were to be hanged. The results of the trial caused anger around the world, resulting in many more labor protests, and it elevated the defendants to the status of martyrs, especially overseas. To this day, there are still strong feelings regarding the injustice of this trial. Monuments for both the martyrs and the fallen police officers were erected in the late 80s. Not much. However, it is generally considered part of the origin of a holiday celebrated around the world every year on May 1st. International Workers' Day, also known as May Day, began in 1889 as a celebration of the labor movement and a remembrance of those who lost their lives in Haymarket Square.